right, we're back, and today we're going to talk about HOAs. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they worth it? I don't know. We're going to find out. But before we get started, make sure you dingle on that bell, hit that subscribe button, and of course, leave us a comment below. What do you think about HOAs? Are they worth it? Leave us a note down below. All right, so let's get
So
going.
what is an HOA, Ron?
What is an? It's a homeowners association, and I'm going to do a quick screen share here.
So everybody that lives in their community is a member of the homeowners association.
Whether they want to be or not.
Mhm.
So if you buy the house in or the home within a certain area, it may have an HOA, a homeowners association. And when you're looking at the property, you may want to find out what that is, because that could be additional fees every month, from something as simple as $50 a year to thousands of dollars a month. So
Right.
you want to check into it and see, and make sure that homeowners association has enough funds to carry it. You don't want to buy into an area where all of a sudden the HOA is in a negative amount, and now you're going to get a huge assessment when you get in there,
Right.
because
That's
they've got to
actually
replace all the
key.
roofs.
That's a big key to any, whether it's a condo association, homeowner association, they're all basically the same animal.
Right.
But yes, you want to check the financial status of the HOA before you buy it, even if they tell you, oh, it's only $300 a month. But if they don't have, their reserves are not met based on their own paperwork, and this is what happened after the recession.
Yes.
Most HOAs did not have the money. And then when something major came up, it was a special assessment. So you want to make sure everybody's in the clear.
Right.
And then one thing before we proceed, I want to let everybody know that this was from a survey that was done by Rocket Mortgage.
Yes, correct.
Published online, and we just thought it was a great bunch of numbers to go through, because I think you might find it surprising depending on if you live in an HOA or you do not.
Correct. And do you want to? You know, this is a great opportunity to discuss it.
So, and we'll get into the numbers, but my biggest problem with them is that it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Typically, let's say you've got 400 homeowners in a subdivision.
Right.
They're not going to put out a vote to 400 people. Typically, you have a board.
Correct.
And they're all behind me right now.
Yes.
That board tries to do, you think, what's best for the community as a whole. But unfortunately, a lot of these people seem to have their own little agendas. And it's personality quirks too. You know, if you have somebody on the board who hates dogs, good luck getting rid of your leash law or getting a dog park, you know, underneath the power lines, right? So
yes.
It's things like that drive you crazy. And then the other one that I find is, God forbid, a bush in your front yard dies and you put a different one in.
Right. Yeah.
Because then they will stick something on your garage door telling you that you've planted a bush that does not conform to the HOA standards, page 37, chapter 4, blah, 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 and you have 5 days to remove it.
Yeah, you got Mrs. Kravitz walking around with her little ticket book and writing.
Pretty much. So that's my thing with HOAs. So
right.
Let's run with this.
So nicely though, 57% of HOA residents don't like having an HOA. How do you like that?
That's more than half.
That is more than half. And we're making fun of that because of this next statement.
Yes.
47% of HOA residents surveyed believe their neighborhood is better with an HOA. And in parentheses in the article, it says that's less than half. Thank you. I didn't understand that.
Right.
Yeah. So 64% of HOA residents surveys feel their HOA honestly handles its finances, which I find surprising. And then
it's pretty much open book. I mean, you go to any board meeting and all that. I mean, and that's where, if it's a major expenditure, they will usually put out an email or a ballot for the residents to vote on.
Right.
But the board is there, and the board's elected, right? You get a president, you got a vice chair, you know, the whole 9 yards. So So if you don't like your HOA, you need to get more involved
and change it if you can. And then 1 in 10 a resident surveyed is considering selling their home for HOA related reasons. So, there are some really bad ones out there. There are some really good ones out there. If you're going to buy a home in an HOA, make sure you check that board out first. Make sure you check it out. Make sure it's solvent before you go into anything else. That may be a beautiful home and it's a great price, but it's because of the HOA that you're getting that great price.
Well, and so inflation went from 1.4% in like 2020 to 7% in 2022, and it's
Yep.
it's working its way down. Obviously, we're not at 7% anymore. But a fixed rate mortgage today at 7%, I mean, you could be into this, your mortgage payment could be $2,000 a month or whatever. But if your HOA fee is $1,000 a month, it's like shnikes.
Yes.
That's pretty rough. You know what I mean? You
Right.
didn't plan on that. Because you also got property taxes on that, which are probably another $1,000 a month. So yeah, all of a sudden you're at $4,000 a month for this lovely house, and that ain't
Oops.
yeah. And the problem too is that the HOA fees just keep going up.
Well, here you go. The average monthly HOA dues, surprisingly, is only $259.
Average.
That's the overall average. Yes.
I wish they'd have gave the mean one though. So mean is, middle. There's just as many above and just as many below. Average is just all of them and then divided by how many they had. So
Right.
it's not a true, I don't think it's a true indicator average.
No, because
That's how you get to play with numbers.
but I mean, if you're looking at condos down in the city,
Mhm.
you could be $1,500, $2,000 a month just in HOA fees for a condo downtown. So you have to really pay attention to that. And
Is it that much a month though, or is it a quarter?
no, that's a month.
Really?
That's a month. Yeah. So, and I would say average for a condo downtown in a high rise is probably going to be $800 to $1,000 a month. Just an
That's
HOA fees. And there's not a lot of grass to cut. So
So window cleaning.
window cleaning, exterior maintenance, anything you have to do with the roof, then you have all the common area maintenance stuff inside with all the lighting. And, if you have 15 floors, you've got all
Well,
that.
and to go further is, a lot of these buildings have security.
Yes, they do.
You got 2 people, 3 people, 4 people rotating, they need salaries. So
Right. Yeah, you got doormen, then you've got, garage attendants that'll park your car and stuff like that. So, and then you've got all the building engineers that go around, taking care of the building, making sure everything's running. So
yeah, it adds up.
it adds up really fast. Today, 60% of new single-family homes and 80% of houses in subdivisions are part of an HOA. So,
And I would agree that down here, like that every new subdivision is gated. Nobody builds a subdivision anymore that's open to the main roads. Everything's gated. And
so
once
is that
gates
a
up,
manned gate or is that just,
most of them are.
so most are manned gated?
Most are manned gates.
Here you go. Top 10 most HOA abundant states. Of course, there you go. Florida, #1, Colorado, #2, Arizona, #3. All of those seems.
Why do you think that is?
So my theory is a lot of those states have secondary homes. You don't have, where that's not their main residence. They have vacation homes. Obviously, Florida is really big for that. Colorado with skiing, the mountain climbing. There's a lot to do out in Colorado. Beautiful state to live in, but you may live somewhere else, and that's just where your retirement home is or your vacation home. And you'll have your second home there. And of course, Arizona right behind it.
Yeah, and actually, it's kind of interesting because given your theory, I would think it would go Florida, Arizona, or Arizona, Florida. I would think those two would be right there.
Yes.
On top of each other. So that's interesting, yeah.
So there you go. Washington State, I find that one surprising. And then, of course, Illinois. What the hell are they doing in there? That doesn't make
sense. City of Chicago condos.
Well, okay, there you go. So but for the city of Chicago to bring that in and bring it up to number, what's that, 5 in the country? That's amazing.
Whatever you do, don't let the city of Chicago see this because they'll probably start taxing your HOA fee.
Exactly. Let's see. And then estimated number of HOAs per 1,000 residents.
Now that's crazy.
There you
So
go.
for every 1,000 residents in this state, there are 2.27.
Yes. And estimated number of residents within an HOA, 9,600,000 in Florida. And then here you go, but number two, here's Illinois again, 3,000,000, almost 800,000.
That's a
So
lot of people.
yes. So
That's a lot of people.
and then Illinois pops in number 4 here at 1.47. So estimated number of residents within an HOA. Look where Arizona falls down. And then Washington and North Carolina bump up. It's kind of interesting to see those numbers and how that plays out. Let's see. Then we're going to go to perspective on the perks. Now that we were talking about this a little bit ago, if you have a pool, common area, you have a park, you know,
Right.
the gated community. Here's the top 10 HOA amenities. Landscaping is the number 1. Sidewalk maintenance. Okay. I don't know how much shoveling you got to do, but
Well, if you pour sidewalks on sand like we do here, they move a lot. So you have to replace them.
okay.
The landscaping to me would be one. Child play areas is always nice. The community swimming pool, I think, would have to be the actual usage. Seems low on that, but
Yeah. Pet friendly community security, only 20%. So that's your gated communities then.
yeah, that's surprising.
So, and I don't think anybody's going to be putting in game rooms anytime soon. So,
No. But it says here, analyzing the actual usage of common amenities. But so, the security, do you really use the security?
the 3 most and least used amenities. Number 1 is the Wi-Fi. And I could see that in the tall condo buildings and stuff in the cities.
Right.
You know, if you've got a gated community, I don't know where Wi-Fi falls in there, but
Well, I wouldn't say so much the Wi-Fi, but our new subdivisions, they will negotiate typically with a fiber optic company, and
okay,
they will get that subdivision. We do the same thing for natural gas. We will negotiate with a gas provider to bring natural gas through the community, which then means everybody must have a gas range, a gas dryer,
okay,
because they put in infrastructure. You know what I
sure,
mean? So there you end up with better service at a slightly lower cost because we run fiber optic right into your house when it's built, as opposed to getting it later and having to add it.
right, and then that's all coming off, part of the HOA is
Yeah.
that they're providing all that. So
Outdoor recreation spaces, that's not really shocking. Most of
no,
the places, again, depending on where you live. I mean, down here again, we have walking paths, we have retention ponds.
mhm,
So there's kayaking, there's this, and and so on. And if you're fortunate to have a place on the water, you've got the beach, right?
right,
So that gets used a lot.
yes,
And then the pool is kind of a no-brainer.
yeah, exactly. And the least one, pet friendly outdoor services. Here's your game room again, and then pest control. Okay, least used.
Again, I think that goes to where you live. I mean, Arizona's got rattlesnakes,
Yeah,
scorpions and tarantulas. So they come around, they check around your properties, right, and kind of keep that cleared away. Down here, we have issues typically with uh I think we have 4 types of black widows,
okay.
you know, and then we have alligators.
Yeah, you got the gator thing happening down
We
there.
got a gator thing, and we have a rule down here. If it's
Yeah,
fresh water, assume there's a gator in it. You don't go into water.
really?
Yes, if it's fresh water, you don't go in.
Well, what fun is that? All
Mhm.
right. So there you go. Do you want to live in an HOA? Don't you? Do you want to have a board like what Rich has got sitting behind him, telling you what you can do and what color you can paint your house, and whether or not you need to replace your roof? What windows can you have in your house?
So you bring up, let's see, and that's just it. Those are legitimate points. So you're right. Your roof color is dictated by them. You cannot have the same color as your neighbor. Even paint colors, usually they cannot be contiguous. So if you wanted a white house and the neighbor behind you is in a white house, you can't. It's contiguous, right?
Yep.
So it's brutal. I mean,
But your grass has to be upkept. You can't have any weeds. The bushes have to be certain
the
styles.
most of that's in our HOA feeds.
Yes.
You
Well,
know,
that's
not everywhere, but again, what does the HOA take care of? And most of ours, they do. They have a company that comes in, they cut everybody's lawns and trims everybody's bushes twice a year, and
yep.
that's, I guess, the point of the HOA.
Right. So if you're buying a house in an HOA, check it out, read their bylaws, know what they're all about before you go buying that house. You don't
Yeah,
want
and check the financials before you submit a contract or an offer.
to
Absolutely.
exactly. All right. So with that, make sure you dingle on that bell, hit that subscribe button. Of course, leave us a comment below. Do you want to live in an HOA? I don't know. Maybe
I
you
don't know.
like it. I
Well,
don't know.
tell us about your HOA. Is it a good one, bad one?
Right. Exactly. So with that, I'll say keep it square and level.
Till next time.
Until next time. There you go. My mom was talking to one of my sisters the other day,
Uh-huh.
and she said she was talking about something. She went, "Boom, done." My sister called me and goes, "I hate you."